You ever look at your bank account and think, well, at least I'm not in the negative? You celebrate because you managed to save $20 this month, and then, poof, a parking ticket appears like manna from the DMV. It's frustrating. You try, you budget, you cut back on oat milk lattes, and yet your financial progress feels like trying to fill a bathtub with a spoon. Now let me tell you a little secret, a quiet, ancient principle, one that my grandfather whispered over pickled herring at Shabbat dinner, before promptly falling asleep mid-sentence. This isn't some TikTok hustle tip or the latest crypto moonshot. This is older, wiser, a little stubborn, like most of us Jews. And I call it the multiplication rule. No, not the one from your high school math class. This one isn't about numbers. It's about behavior. But before I explain what it is, let's go back, way back. Picture this. Warsaw, 1923. My great-great-uncle Mordecai, everyone called him Motti, ran a tiny bagel stand. Wooden cart, 2 wheels, 1 angry goat always trying to eat the sesame seeds. That kind of operation. Now, Motti wasn't rich, but every single morning, he did the same thing. He took 10 grossi from the day before, maybe 3% of his daily income, and he set it aside. Not buried under his mattress, no. He reinvested it, sometimes into more flour, sometimes into better salt. Once, into hiring a local boy to sing and attract customers. The boy was tone deaf, but business doubled. Go figure. And year by year, Motti's bagels got better, his cart got bigger, and eventually, he had a bakery. Then 2. Then he started selling niches. Because, you can never go wrong with a good niche. What Motti understood, without a business degree, without YouTube tutorials, is what I'm sharing with you today. Small wins only grow if you reinvest them. Now you might be thinking, that's it? That's the big Jewish investment secret? But wait. The key isn't just reinvesting. It's knowing what to reinvest and where. That's where the multiplication comes in. Let me say something that might offend your savings account. Saving money is good, but freezing money is a missed opportunity. Here's how we tend to operate. We save $50 and we let it sit. In a low-interest account, barely beating inflation. It's like putting your hard-earned shekels in a glass jar, and then forgetting where you placed the jar. But the Jewish tradition doesn't think of money as static. Money is potential, like yeast in dough. It's only useful if it rises. And this is where the rule comes in. Every time you win, no matter how small, multiply it. Make it do something. Grow. Evolve. Serve a new purpose. Let me give you a modern example. A friend of mine, Shira, sells handmade jewelry online. She started by selling earrings to friends, made $30 profit her first month. Now, a normal person might say, great, I'll treat myself to sushi. Not Shira. She took those $30 and used them to buy better packaging. More elegant, classy little boxes with her logo. Result? More people shared her products on Instagram. Sales doubled. So the next month, she reinvested into a simple website, then into ad space, then into a ring-making course. 5 years later, no loans, no investors. Shira has a 6-figure business, all from multiplying every small win. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's a habit. And yes, sometimes the multiplication goes sideways. You invest in a new tool, it breaks. You try a new strategy, it flops. That's okay. Multiplication isn't about perfection. It's about direction. Now you might be wondering, why is this rule forbidden? Why does it feel so secret? Because it goes completely against what modern life teaches us. We live in a world of instant consumption. You make a little extra money, boom, time for a new phone case, or an air fryer, or tickets to that concert of that band you kind of like but mostly just recognize from TikTok. And hey, I'm not judging. We all do it. I once spent $120 on a vintage chess set. Do I play chess? Barely. But the pieces were hand-carved, and it came with a tiny drawer for the pawns. The thing is, modern culture trains us to spend rewards, not reinvest them. So the multiplication rule feels almost unnatural, because it requires delayed celebration. And that's not fun, but that's exactly why it works. In Jewish thought, there's a concept called koch hanefesh, the strength of the soul. It's the quiet power to delay, to withhold, to act with intention. Applying this to money means that instead of buying a dopamine hit, you buy a seed, and then you water it. Over time, seeds become fields. Okay, so let's get practical. How do you apply the multiplication rule without becoming a spreadsheet-obsessed robot? Simple. Use these 3 steps. Step 1. Identify the win. Doesn't matter how small. You got a $15 refund from your utility company? That's a win. Found a cheaper way to commute? Win. Made your first sale online? That's a win. Recognize it. Say, thank you. Gratitude is good for the soul and the wallet. Step 2. Ask the Jewish question. Not, what can I spend this on? But how can I make this do more? More connection, more growth, more learning, more impact. Let's say you save $25 by cooking at home this week. Great. Now what can that $25 do? Buy a book on something that improves your skills. Take an online course. Start a small experiment. An Etsy product, a digital tool, a workshop ad. Make your win a seed. Step 3. Create a multiplication habit. Set a rule for yourself. For example, every time I save money, 50% of it goes into my multiplication fund. This fund isn't for emergencies or vacations. It's for growing your capacity. Over time, this habit becomes addictive. You start seeing every opportunity as fertile soil. And that's when the game changes. Here's the part most people forget, or maybe avoid. Multiplying your wins isn't only about your wallet. It's about your impact. In Jewish tradition, we don't separate money from meaning. In fact, there's a whole idea called tikkun olam, repairing the world. That doesn't mean you have to give away everything you earn. But it does mean that your financial growth is more powerful when it flows outward. Let me tell you a story. There's a rabbi I knew in Jerusalem. Every time he made a little extra money, sometimes as little as 10 shekels, he'd take a piece of it and find someone else to help. One time, he gave a shoemaker money for new tools. Another time, he paid a teenager to help him organize books, just to give the boy some dignity and a few coins. He told me, when you invest in others, you multiply yourself. It stuck with me. So yes, multiply your wins to build wealth, build skills, build security, but also multiply your wins into kindness, into connection, into opportunities for others. Because in the end, a rising tide doesn't just lift your boat, it lifts the whole harbor. And that's the most powerful investment of all. Look, I know it's not glamorous advice. I'm not telling you to flip houses or day trade gold. I'm telling you to take your tiny wins and treat them like holy sparks. Nurture them, multiply them. Let them teach you what kind of person you're becoming. Because wealth isn't measured only in dollars. It's measured in momentum, in generosity, in wisdom. And if you apply this little Jewish rule, even in your own quirky, modern way, you'll start to see something magical. Not overnight, but over time. Your bagels will turn into bakeries. Your seeds will turn into gardens. And one day, you'll look back and say, that little win, it changed everything. Now tell me in the comments, what was the last small win you had? Seriously, I want to hear it. Go down there, share it, and let's multiply some wins together. Like the video, because this kind of wisdom needs a bigger table. Subscribe, because I've got plenty more stories, rules, and maybe even a few Talmudic investment tips coming your way. And trust me, you don't want to miss the next one. It's about how ancient Jewish law predicted the housing crisis. Yes, really. See you soon.